What's up, everyone? Welcome to season 4 of MyBLVD Podcast. This season, we're doing something special. I am here with my co-host, Missie. Say what's up to the people, Missie.
Hello. I'm so excited to join you, Dhati. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to talk about the who, what, when, where, how, and why of urban missions.
That's right. This season, we are going to be walking through together, like live, real conversations. We're going to be talking about real questions, really practical wisdom about how to do ministry in urban environments.
Yeah, this is going to be a primer for all of us. So let's join this journey. Let's grow, learn, and push forward urban missions together.
Stay tuned. This season, we're going to talk about how you can do ministry where you live, where you work, and where you worship. So let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to the final episode of season 4 of This Is MyBLVD Podcast. My name is Dhati Lewis.
And I'm Missie Branch. I can't believe we're at the end of a season.
It's so hard. It's so hard to say goodbye.
To yesterday,
yes,
to today, to the podcast. Listen, to the season.
To the
it's
season.
hard to say goodbye to the season.
To the season.
Yes.
We're not going anywhere.
No, I'm excited.
But this season is going to,
yes.
to an end, to a closure. You know, it's been a journey.
Yeah, I think it was a good one.
It's a good journey.
Yes. We need to reflect. I think we talked about a lot this season.
Yes. So let's just first reflect on, like, what do you feel about the chemistry here? Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's the talk. Because earlier we started off, we came off with a rocky start. We didn't even remember to say, you know, with the name. I don't know if you remember all
okay.
That. You know, I just, you know what I'm saying? Early on, there was some of that going on.
Yes. Well, you know, it was all new all at once.
Yeah.
New position, new podcast. Well, me being on the podcast, co-hosting, all of it was new. I love it. Yep. But I also think the fact that our families have been friends for a long time.
Yes.
You know,
that
we've known each other, so that part was not hard.
Yes. It was not hard.
I just channeled conversations in the living room, listening to you and Deuce go at it. You know, I just channeled it. Yes.
But
so it's been great. It's been great.
Good. Okay. All right. So, but we talked about in the journey.
Yes, we talked about the who, what, when, where, and why, and how of urban missions.
Yes, those were good. Those were good episodes, just to kind of lay a foundation. Because
yes,
oftentimes when we talk about like those things, you know, because urban is so many things now.
Yes.
Everybody. I was in the middle of the country in the sticks, and they had a place that was called like Urban Coffee, and I was just like, how? And it was like, how is this called Urban Coffee?
Listen, I live in a town, okay? And there is one housing project in this town. And I know people who continue to call that the inner city. And I often ask, where is the outer city?
Where's the outer city? Because to have an inner, there must be an outer.
There must be an outer, yes. But we just like to toss these words around.
So if you haven't seen those podcasts, get a foundation, because those podcasts lays a foundation of where we're coming from.
Yes.
Right?
Who is an urban missionary? Why? Yes. And why is that a context? Yeah. Why is that a context for missions?
Because I think it's really important for you guys to understand, right? When we talk about MyBLVD, there's 2 primary statements. We said it's a call for urban missionaries.
Yes.
And so we're trying to call people to being missionaries in the urban. So you got to understand what we're saying when we're saying urban.
Right.
So that's one. But then if you become a Boulevard missionary, we're trying to strengthen those urban missionaries.
Yes.
Right. And so I think that is critical for you to understand. So get some foundation by going and listen to those podcasts.
Yes. Because I am in love with the idea of people being urban missionaries. It's such an honor to serve this demographic. But then we also talked about the urban missionary journey. The 7 stops of the urban missionary. And that's brand new. So it's been fun to develop that, to talk through that, and to even talk to other people who are doing the work.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is it's the iterative nature of our learning, because we're learning and putting language. Because you remember when we first started, it was just like stop 0, stop 1. It was just like,
we did change it. You know, we changed that. We made it make sense.
We made it make sense.
Let's make it make sense. Okay.
Because it was crazy. We were getting confused. Like, all right, this is the 6th stop, but it's really 5 and 6.
Did I buy a ticket? I don't understand what's going on.
So now you guys know all of those things. So I mean, we talked about like the journey, and this is, I think it's critical, because if we're going to call urban missionaries, people to become missionaries, and we're not just talking about pastors being missionaries, we're talking about pastors, poets, practitioners, polymaths. We're talking about you becoming an urban missionary. What we're doing is that we're helping you to establish that journey. to create that journey. We just did a gathering in San Diego, talking about that and like walking people through kind of the stops of urban missionaries. So, we're getting we're learning. We're putting it together.
And you know what I really love? I love that during that part of it, the urban missionary journey, we were really able to talk to people, some women, some men who are doing urban missions in their spaces, and it tied to those stops. I do think that there is a lot to learn when you get to hear it. It's not just us just running our mouths. It's people who are doing the work. And I'm not just saying that because these are people that we know personally who we've just been like, my God, the Lord is using you. The Lord is using you to make impact.
Yeah,
that's
it kind
beautiful.
Of reminds me of Elisha. He was, Elisha was just like, Lord, why am I the only one? He's like, fool, you ain't the only one. There's so many of us out there. I always got my squad. Like the Lord.
It feels like that though.
And that's one of the things in the hopes of Boulevard is that we want to be a space to bringing these urban missionaries together because so oftentimes we're out there by ourselves doing it and we're doing our thing. And there's a lot of people doing their things, but like, you don't have to be out there by yourself
doing it.
Yep. You don't have to be out there by yourself doing it. And that's where we even brought in like some of the people, like the trusted partners. People who different, like people like Daniel Yang and, we had like Mark Demas.
Yes. That was a whole nother section, partners in the mission. Yep. And they provided us tools for urban missions.
Yes.
I love it because, Mark Demas doing the work, Daniel Yang doing the work, and
Troy Evans
doing the work.
The work. I mean, there's so many people.
Larry from Regal
doing the work, talking about like because we have people like that are literally in urban environments doing the work, and then we have people who have ministry partners that are actually creating resources to help us better.
Like glue.
Like glue.
Yes.
So it's just like so many different things, so many different ways. So. What have we learned?
Okay, that was my question for you. Not just what have we learned, but what do you think is some of the biggest lessons that we've learned about this season regarding urban missionaries? Yeah. So let's start with regarding being an urban missionary. What are some of the things?
Well, I think we've already said one. We're not here by ourselves.
That's so good.
And I think so oftentimes we feel so lonely, so by ourselves, so many things. And I know that was one of the impetus for me leaving NAM. I love what my time at Sin Network, love what I was doing, but I was just kind of like, man. Oftentimes I feel like I'm the only one. And then in order to rally people to not be alone, I had to convince you to become something that you don't want to become. Like, you got to be, in order for us to really do it, you got to be a part of my tribe. And I was just like, no, like, man, there's so many of us and we all have we're coming at it from different vantage points and all that. It's just like, but man, coming together, it's been great that we're not by ourselves and the Lord is doing his thing.
Yes.
And so that's been
your biggest lesson. Yeah. I think for me, one of my biggest lessons has been that God wants to use who you are. Yeah. So in order to be an urban missionary, you don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to wear a suit. But you can be a pastor and you can wear a suit. And it doesn't matter that God sees you, has called you, given you a context and said, let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this. And so, there's something beautiful about hearing the voices and learning about all of the different people who serve the Lord in their context, in their way, through their natural gifts, through their own voice. You know what I'm saying? Whether they be, I think about Flatline Church, who is really supporting artists. You know what I'm saying? There's a pastor who sees the arts as valuable, important to reaching a context. I think about Good Culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really love the idea that we don't have to change who we are to serve a context.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay. So then how do partnerships and networks accelerate the impact?
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that kind of even what we're doing, we started this journey off with 40.
Yeah.
40 missionaries and now
65.
Yeah. We're pushing that number. And this
is not even a recruiting year. This is a strengthening year. And that's not bragging. That's just saying, Lord, you're doing the work. You're bringing people in and we see the need. This is not in vain. This is something that people want.
And what I also love about it is that it's not only just about kind of like a lot of times in organizations and, in some of the organizations that I've been a part of, it's been about like the pastor, the male, but we have seen a rise of female missionaries.
Yes.
We have that. We're in over 38 cities that we are doing this. So this is not just like here in Atlanta or somewhere in North Carolina, but it's like we're hitting different things. And we got people that are doing all the way from refugees and to prison ministry to church plants to
AI.
AI. I mean, it's just the diversity of what the Lord is doing. Because oftentimes it is hard because every time, you go to some of the conferences, some of the things, the only time you see minorities speaking is about multi-ethnic or the diversity conversation, racial reconciliation.
All valuable, all necessary.
Yeah, not hating.
Right. All we need it in the church, but we have more to say.
We have more to say. Yes. And that's what's the beauty is. It's like, man, seeing these people say, no, God is doing his thing so many different ways in our cities, in our neighborhoods, and he's killing it. He's killing it. And he's raising up in missionaries. So,
okay. So what are some key tools that our missionaries can, now that we've had this whole season, what do you say are some key tools? Certainly you could plug the 7 stops. What are some key tools that every urban missionary should be using?
Yeah, I mean, I think one is the 7 stops. The 7 stops of an urban missionary is not like stop 0 to 7. It's literally 7 stops now.
Yes.
But so we have the 7 stops of every missionary. You have, I mean, how do you develop and cultivate a vision from burden?
Yes.
How do you have emotional health? How do you, engage with people?
Yes.
Like, I mean, I think some of those things are significant. You know where you can find all of those things is on the city syllabus.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But you got to be an urban missionary.
Yes, that's the thing. But also, you can also you have access to our trusted partners. Yes. And I think that they've provided a lot of tools, a lot of resources. And I do think that one of the things that I've learned through this season is that your network is your net worth. And so being able to be a part of networks and groups and communities where I'm not doing this alone. But, one of our, somebody we interviewed said this, I think it was Mark. He said, it's wonderful to know who you are. It's also important to know who you're not, because when you know who you're not, you know who you need. Yes, and when you know who you need and you're smart, then you go and get the help for the people who can do what you can't. And so I think that's an incredible tool, is to know who you're not and to be willing to go and say, hey, I need help. I need to grow this thing. I need to strategize. I need to learn my artistry, my craft, or whatever. So,
So what's the future? Where are we going from here?
Well, we're going to do season 5.
Season 5? You heard it here.
Yes, we're going to do season 5. We're going to continue the work of the urban missionaries. Yes. Okay. We're going to continue to support them.
Yep.
We're going to continue to recruit them. We're going to continue to strengthen them. But what I also would love to see is the work expand. We know that while the laborers are few, there are laborers. Yes. We know 65 personally.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
But I do think that there are more communities, more cities, more nonprofits, more businesses, more areas that can be impacted through the work. So
more, and we want to help strengthen them.
Yes,
and so when we talk about it, everything that we do is that we are here to help strengthen these urban missionaries, strengthen their walk with Jesus, strengthen their bond with other missionaries, and strengthen their impact locally. Because we want a group of people to say, I reject passivity, and I want to accept responsibility to say, this is my boulevard. So I'm excited about continuing that via the podcast.
So then how can people get involved?
Yeah.
After they listen and they get excited and they want to join us, how can they do that?
Well, one, go to the website. And there's this join the family, and we can take you through a process to helping you become a missionary. But again, we're the reason why we're taking this slower, and to kind of steady and slower is because we're partnering with people who are really willing to do the work. They're really wanting to invest. They're really people who are investing in their boulevard.
They have a heart for context.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that is exciting. And so, and again, I'm excited that, over the growth of what we're doing, that we're creating a space for men and women, for pastors and poets, for people. And oftentimes what we do is that we only connect with people who look like us, talk like us, act like us. Pastors are only talking to just pastors, and artists are just talking to artists, and nonprofit leaders are just talking to nonprofit leaders. But here we have the ability to cross-pollinate in so many different ways. And so we have that ability to cross-pollinate, and we do cross-pollinate in our groups and on our times, but we also have the ability to, at times, become affinity-based. And so I would love to, I didn't want to put you out there, but I would love to see, we're talking about doing a little something in the fall.
You're talking about the retreat?
Oh, yeah, we're going to be doing a retreat.
Oh, okay.
But I'm talking about a little bit more. Yes. We're talking about some form. We don't know if it's the name exactly, but some form of women.
Yes, women in mission. Yeah, I love that idea. I do believe that we can see how women can be in certain parts of the mission, but we don't necessarily have a full vision for how God can use us. But one of the things I do know, and I think keeps me motivated in this work, is that all impact is always generational. And so if we're going to be impacting people, if we're going to be impacting these communities, we want to bring the gospel so that is what we're leaving for generations to come. So I'm excited.
We're excited. So you heard it here first. Breaking news. Exclusively
Something's
for you.
Coming. Something's coming. Yes.
It is coming, and we
I'm
are
excited. I'm excited. Yeah.
All right. Well, again, it's so hard to say goodbye. But guess what? We are saying
season
goodbye.
4. Yes.
We are saying goodbye to season 4. And this is another episode of This Is My BLVD Podcast. My name is Dhati Lewis.
And I'm Missie Branch.
And this is our
My BLVD.